What's going on, guys? Welcome to the first episode of Not Your Normal Podcast. I am James, and I'm joined today by Jonah.
Yeah, what's up?
Little known
And
fact about Jonah, he has a massive penis.
yeah, that's very very much true. And we were meant to be joined by someone else, but
They couldn't make it
that's
today.
going to be saved for another day.
Um,
Yeah,
uh, well, I hope you all had a good Christmas and a happy New Year's. Bring on 2020.
yep.
And apparently everyone was having a good Christmas, except for this family who had to put out the Christmas fire after the kids set the lawn ablaze with a magnifying glass.
Wait, what? That's actually true.
It is. It is very true. It was about a kid who was looking into the grass. He was only a little kid. He was maybe 7, looking into the
Uh,
grass for ants or bugs or something, and ended up setting the whole grass alight. And then his parents called the fire brigade and started trying to put the fire out. And they did get it out, which is good.
uh,
But yeah, still, it was very risky.
very risky.
It was.
Yeah,
So that's something that not everyone
that
had
we
to deal
talk.
with.
Well, everyone's going to know about the new Not Your Normal podcast. The first thing we talked about is lighting a fire with a magnifying glass. It's a great
On
start,
Christmas
James, I
Day.
must
Now
say.
that is fucking incredible.
Yeah. Hey, but did you hear about Greta Thunberg being voted for the Person of the Year?
I did, and that is bullshit. That is number one bullshit. That is so stupid. A
I know,
girl,
bro.
a girl who made it to being named person of the decade, not only person of the year,
Oh, yo.
because she shed some tears, arguably fake tears, about trees and the environment and how we're destroying the planet and this and that and that, but didn't actively go and do anything about the issue. She kind of just left it at there's an issue and that's it. Cried about it a little
Yeah.
bit, tried to get other people to make a difference. Whereas if you've seen on Instagram, which I know you tend to surf quite a bit, um,
Mm.
there's been some things about Mr. Beast. People arguing that he should be person of the decade because he didn't sit there and cry about or shed tears
Yeah, just
over
complain all the time.
over the issues in our environment, and instead took it upon himself, took initiative, went and planted. How many trees did he plant? It was something like
20 million, I
20.
think.
Yeah, 20 million. That's yeah. And so yeah, that's quite a bit. Like he took that on upon himself to do that, and so I think there is a point. There is logic behind naming him person of the decade because he did take initiative and take that step forwards to help our environment, whereas he didn't just sit there and try and get other people to do something. He actually
Mm.
himself did it, and that I think is much better than sitting there and complaining about what could have been done and what should be done.
Yeah. But, like, because we live in Australia, in Christmas time, it's like summer and it's like super, super hot. Basically, what firefighters used to do is backburn everything, which is basically where you'd make a fire and then they'd light it out so then fires would not spread.
It was a
But
controlled fire. It was like
yeah,
so yeah, so shit wouldn't you wouldn't light it and then it would fucking burn down, large majorities of stuff. It would just burn down like what it was intended to, and it wouldn't, you know, get out of control. They'd have it under control the entire time. They knew what they were doing.
yeah, but because of all these global warmings, they're saying you're destroying the habitat. And now look at Australia. There's fires every single place. Queensland's lit up, Sydney's lit up, and Victoria's soon to be lit up.
And I reckon here's my very shaky opinion on global warming. I think global warming is a myth, and I have reasoning to support my opinion.
Okay, which is
My reasoning is, you know how we say, oh, global warming is becoming a seriously big problem because it's going to be,
mm,
for example, our hottest summer in 40 years.
yeah,
That to me doesn't make sense because if it's being our hottest summer in 40 years, it was obviously this degrees 40 years ago when they weren't really talking about global warming being an issue.
true,
Saying
true.
global warming's become an issue more in recent years, or so to speak. And so that's my reasoning for saying that global warming could be and is very likely to be a myth.
Yeah, but there's people saying like the whole world temperature's gone up 0.2 degrees Celsius. I don't talk Fahrenheit. I am American, but yeah, and it's just like stuff like that and stuff. Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's the thing where they're saying the icebergs or something in fucking not
yeah.
Iceland, what it Antarctica
Iceland.
are melting. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
we could bucket that water and send it to Africa, like as like
It'd
a,
be salt water. They'd get even more thirsty.
but
What are
it's
you talking
water.
about?
Do they have salt water? They should just be
No.
grateful.
Alright. I don't want the first episode to just be like taken off, like we get in trouble. You want to be on the project?
Yes, yes, guys, get us to the project, please.
Get us to the project. Yeah, but like
Another,
same thing is
yeah, go ahead.
same thing as vegans. It's the same thing as vegans. Like saying, "Oh, you're destroying the planet." Like you're eating more of the animal's food. So technically, you're
Exactly.
destroying
You're
them.
eating what we're living on, so more or less, it's the same. It
Mm.
goes both ways. Vegans say, "Oh, we can just grow trees, or we can just," but it takes longer to, or not really longer, but it's the same thing. When an animal's killed and eaten, or for humans, to say,
Yeah.
we the animal is then bred, and more is, brought into the world. Therefore, it's being kept at a level that's fair. It's the same with
Mm.
plants. Vegans eat plants. They plant more plants. The
Yeah.
plants grow. It works the same thing with animals.
But
You
yeah,
eat.
but like, here's what I'm saying is like, this is like my topic that I said we'd talk about. But my topic is like, what would be the use for them? Because they're part of the food chain, and vegans are saying they should be left alone. Like, what would be the use of cows? Like, don't use them for milk. Don't use them for this. Don't use them for that.
Exactly.
So then we'd have
if we
millions and
overpopulate
millions
with
of
cows,
just
yep.
there and just doing nothing.
Exactly. If we overpopulate with cows, it's just going to be ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So yeah, there is a point behind it.
yeah. And I'm like, you get those people like eating bananas all day, and like people die because of vegan diets.
That's very true.
Like,
I've heard of illnesses like that have come upon people because of veganism or
yeah,
being vegetarian. Not so much vegetarian, but more veganism and being a vegan. Because the human body
yeah,
is not made to just live off plants. It's
yeah. Because
there
like,
is nutrients and stuff in meat
mm,
that you wouldn't be able to get from fruit or vegetables or plants.
yeah. But like, what I'm saying is like, if we were like left on an island, there's a cow there, or there's a tree with one coconut. What are you gonna go for? Eat that coconut, let that cow die, and then it's just sitting there, or
Exactly.
you eat the cow and you survive longer.
Exactly. And the
Like, no offense to cows, but like, I mean, James is a cow, but like,
I'm actually part cow. I got a cow penis. And that was funny
uh,
because cows don't have penises. But yeah, um, I believe that vegan. I'm not going to say it's wrong, but it's definitely not an opinion or a subject that
yeah.
I agree with or I am for.
Like, believe me, if you want to go vegan, but just like,
Oh yeah,
don't sue people for having smells in their backyard barbecues. Did you
I
see
saw
that?
that. I saw that. That was ridiculous.
Kind
If
of
you're going to
funny
be
though.
vegan, that's your prerogative. That's your decision. You can go all for it, but then don't complain
Or
or
don't try and force other people
yeah, like
to
those
become that.
protesters who are trying to get I'm going to use the word normal people um to stop eating meat and stop having because just because you do something doesn't mean everyone's got to do it. You know what I mean? Like that's a choice.
Yeah, exactly. And like that choice, like either has to be made or it's an actual diet that the doctor has told you that you have to do.
Yeah, that's your own decision. You don't have to force other people to do it. There shouldn't be protests about banning meat and all this shit.
Yeah,
Because not eating meat, I suppose, was your decision to do in the first place. If someone else decides to be vegan or to be a vegetarian, that's them. That doesn't have nothing to
yeah.
do with you.
But you know, Australia, like 35% turn vegan. Of
And
Australians
that
turn
is
vegan.
huge. That is a lot of
Um,
people.
but like, we have how many people is in Australia?
Oh fuck, a lot. There is quite a few. Well, the last time I checked, it was like um, a couple mil. Was it
It's
24 mil as
uh,
of? I
yeah,
think I checked in.
24.6 million.
Yeah, I think study in 2017 said there was 26 or 24 million and a bit.
Yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
that's a lot of people. Um, and yeah, so a fair bit of them are actually vegan.
Yeah, which is like, I'm not saying stupid, but yeah, see, 500,000. Wouldn't be 35%. I must have heard of that, but 500,000 vegans nationwide,
That's quite a bit.
and that's just women that are vegans.
Yeah, and most vegan, not putting shit on no one, but most vegans or vegetarians tend to be women, whereas yeah, so
Alright,
kind of for
careful where
some
you're
reason
going with this, I must say.
cycles more around women, which is fine. I'm not saying that there is anything wrong with it. Once again, it is your choice, it is your decision. I personally just don't agree with it,
Yeah, no, exactly.
which is should also be fine.
All right. How about we get over like the boring topics? We'll do what we do every day. So
Go Actually talking about
everyone,
boring topics, going back to yeah, like you're saying, going back to what we do every day, we play games just about every day.
yeah,
Um, and so, talking about the person of the decade, well, let's go to the video game of the decade, which has been talked about quite a bit lately,
yeah.
with a surprising, not really surprising title, but for me surprising because I couldn't stand it. Fortnite is up there to be ranked game of the decade, surpassing
Like,
titles like Minecraft, Black Ops 2, and even Grand Theft Auto 5, which was a massive on release, and several years afterwards is still going.
yeah, but like what I'm saying is though, is I'm no shame to Fortnite. Like it's actually a good game, but like it just gets boring.
I I did I've tried playing it several times. Wasn't big on it ever throughout any of the seasons. My brother, however, was. Um, the multiplayer I wasn't a big fan of. Just the battle royale.
Battle Royale I actually enjoyed. I played that quite a bit.
I did not enjoy it at all. So see, it's good to have different opinions because I couldn't stand the battle royale, but I did, I
I
suppose,
played
kind
the
of
Save the World
enjoy.
as well.
Yeah, I kind of enjoyed the Save the World. You know, it had a
But you
feeling
know
to
what's
it that
also
was.
good? The deals that they gave you when you bought Save the World, right? So you'd buy it, and then you could give it to three people for free. Where I got it for free from one of my best mates. Like
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's what other games should do.
and can you
Release.
think about this? Imagine how much money Fortnite made off its players, considering it was a free game, and really the only thing that was needed to be paid for was Save the World, or
And
like
skins.
skins or V Bucks.
Yeah.
So or Battle Pass. So imagine how much you reckon, in your opinion, do you think they made on that game? Keeping in mind that it was a free game, and all you
Yeah.
had to pay for was for cosmetics and slight extras besides Save the World.
Like honestly, it would be so bizarre for like a free game.
And I'm sure that's why it's running in to Game of the Decade because it was a free game, and it's making more money than games that were paid for games. So like they
Like
were
I
done by
reckon it'd be close to 200 million.
for sure, for sure.
Hold on, let me search it up quickly.
The
Yeah,
amount of people
203 million in May 2019.
that is a lot. That is that is crazy numbers. Because
And
it was hitting records of stuff from time to
yeah,
time. Um, it was also caused quite a bit of controversy on the news with
in its first, and that was in 2019. In its first year, it made 2.4 billion.
yeah. See, that is crazy. That is absolutely, and because keeping in mind made $2.4 billion in its first year of release, and the game was free.
Yeah, I
That
know.
means all the money that was made by the directors of the game, or by, anyone who worked in the game, studios and stuff, was literally solely made on cosmetics and on Save the World. Which Save the World was alright, but I would not or cannot see a purpose in purchasing cosmetics. So looking, just, spending, for example, $30 was, I think, how many V-Bucks was that? I think
Um,
I think
$30
50.
would be about. If I had to guess, it would be like a couple thousand V-Bucks.
It'd be a couple thousand. I think $100 is 10,000 V-Bucks.
Yeah,
Um, so you're spending $100 for 10,000 virtual credits, which could be used fairly quickly. Sometimes even on just one skin or one set, and that seems crazy, but yeah,
mm.
that's a
But like, it's a good game. Like, it attracted heaps of kids. It attracted heaps of streamers. Like,
yeah. It made quite a few what are now big names on YouTube and on Twitch.
yeah,
So yeah, like Fortnite brought in YouTubers like Ninja, Ali, that really brought them into being relevant and stuff, I suppose.
yeah. But like, if you think about it, Ali, he started playing. Like, I watched him when he did his Call of Duty, and he would do different things, and then started playing Fortnite, and now he's just getting hundreds of thousands of views where he used to get millions. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you get stuck on the one game and that's the game you're known for, everyone's gonna go, all right, this is getting boring.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where I think Fortnite came in, and people started getting hooked on it, and it really switched everything up for a lot of people. And it also caught the attention of a lot of younger people who were into video games, or who may not have even been into video games, but were drawn into gaming by Fortnite.
Mm.
It was on the news as well for you know ages for Fortnite to be played, because it didn't. There was someone on, like, I think it was Today's Show, arguing that it was too violent, and that it shouldn't be for people under the
Yeah,
age of 15. And there was people who were the age, like, under the age of 10 playing. For example, someone who was 7. And though they said there was no blood in it, or you know that kind of stuff, or gore or anything like that, there was, the intention of the game was still in the wrong place, because the aim was to kill everyone
yeah.
else in the other match, or to shoot everyone else in order to come out on top. And that these things would teach the people, or the next generation, I suppose, of people being brought up, the wrong thing in ways like that.
But like, as I was saying, like, people are saying, oh, you don't see the gore, you don't see the guts. Like, all right, you don't see that. So what? If the parents are allowing him to play, let him play.
And
He
that's
turns
exactly
into a
right. Like,
psychopath. He turns into a psychopath. He turns into a psychopath.
and that's it. If
Like,
you're parenting your kid correctly, this isn't my opinion. This isn't, you know, in my opinion, if you're parenting your kid correctly, your kid's not going to end up like that off playing a video game. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, so even if you're gonna, like, even if you let them play the game, but play it with them, or play it with like, sitting next to them, even talk to them about what's going on, and just, if you're not really comfortable with letting them play all day, which is probably not recommended, break it up in times. Break it up, for example, 10 minutes now, 20 minutes later, and they like another 20 minutes before that, or just like, spend 1 hour on the game a day. That's it. And on weekends you
yeah.
get an extra hour, or something along those lines. You know what I mean?
As I say, like, you can let a kid play any game, like, if you've got the parents' permission, but just don't try and sneak behind someone's back. Which is why EB Games is good, because they don't let you buy any R18 plus game unless you've got a parent there with you.
That's
And if
exactly
that
right.
parent's like allowing him to buy that, then it's all their fault. It's not the game's fault. It's
And that is
the
exactly
parents'
correct.
fault.
You cannot ban a game or blame a game for
Mm.
something that was caused, or for people who were under the recommended age playing the video game, um, because they could only get their hands on it with parental consent,
But it
or
might work differently in America. You never know.
like even in Australia, like it was on the news for us as well in on Today's
Yeah.
Show. They're saying too many people under the age of the recommended age, which I think for Fortnite was either 13 or 15, and they were playing it, and it was could possibly cause
Mm.
violence, which they said it had showed in a study. But
But
this stuff is subjective to whether the parents allow it or not, and once the parents made a decision, that's the parents' decision to work or to monitor the kids' behavior, monitor their time online, and yeah, that's
yeah, but like, yeah, I'll give you an example. Right. So you got a show like Dora the Explorer. It's a very random show, but like, that's like showing kids. I love Dora the Explorer, by the way. I'm just saying. But like,
yeah,
that's
she's
just
fucking
showing
hot.
kids, right?
And the
Yeah.
monkey
That's
Bruce, is that his name? Fucking
yeah.
hell, that
Dude.
guy is fucking stunning. His tail is
What I'm
so
saying
good.
is like, that's showing kids like a little kid that's how old? Not even 13 is going out and exploring into the woods, and that's like basically showing kids go out and explore by yourself. If you put it into the worst perspective, which I'm not, which I am, like it's like me saying they're influencing kids to go out to the wild and explore by themselves with a monkey.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. But I
But
don't.
like, if you put it in the worst perspective, it's always going to sound bad. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get it. I also, it's just like it's not. I don't understand how the people are thinking about it. That it's ending up into a big, an issue that everyone has to hear about. Like,
Yeah.
if you're that bored that you're sitting there thinking about this all the time, you either A, just need to go and get a job,
Mm.
or B, just like literally just do something because you're obviously fucking bored.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you have literally this much time to sit there and think about the amount of violence, for example, or the amount of anger or frustration that a video game is putting into somebody, you need to go and work or do something. Like this is not a sitting there and just watching that or finding something to blame is not a job, or is not a profession, or something that needs to be really looked over. Like playing Fortnite is not going to encourage your kid to go get a gun and start shooting up
Yeah.
the school because he needs to be the only survivor. Your kid is also not going to jump out of a plane with a fucking parachute and be
Because like, you
like,
never
oh,
know.
Loot Lake, let's land
Yeah.
on that island and clear it out. Like, no one's going to
Mm.
do that.
Like, let's put it into perspective, right? Fortnite, like, Epic Games might not have even thought it was going to get that big. They thought it might have been. I'm not saying Epic Games, like, all their games was failures, but, like, a couple of their games were. They might have thought, oh, yeah, this game is going to be such a failure.
And that's exactly right. I think had they known it was going to blow up so big,
Like
they
that,
might
it
have
would have just
even
been.
a paid for game, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Maybe they
exactly.
hadn't intended for it to go that big, or maybe they were testing out something that hadn't been done before, and they knew if they made it free, it would, have a higher chance of blowing up because more people would get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like,
But, like,
yeah, the being free part,
mm,
has both its pros and cons of the game.
yeah.
Cons being that, kids who went to the PlayStation store could download it for free and they didn't really need the parental consent. But the pro
Mm,
being for the company that they got their product around, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So it was kind of like a marketing thing, I suppose.
exactly. Yeah, but, like, alright, we'll forget about Fortnite for a second. What do you reckon the game of the decade should be?
Or what do I reckon game of the decade?
This is like a legitimate question. Like,
Oh,
you know what I was thinking about before?
what
I was
was
thinking Overwatch could actually get the game of the decade. That's been big for years, and I'm talking years.
same with
GTA, yeah, I know, but like,
GTA and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege.
mm, because like Overwatch tournaments still go on, and it was released how long ago? In 20.
I
Hold
think
on.
it was like 2014.
2016. Oh, so it hasn't been out for that long actually.
Oh, it's kind of been a while, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think Rainbow Six Siege has a fair shot. I think GTA 5 has a fair shot. Um,
Even Red Dead Redemption, I wouldn't mind being up there.
Red Dead Redemption 2 had the story mode of the decade, if it goes
Yeah.
on story modes, quite easily.
Yeah.
But another game that I think is a very popular choice for game of the decade, and probably, going to be running in it like games of, several things, and was a very talked about topic for about, 3 or 4 years of its life, was Black Ops 2,
Mm.
which was released on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 on
What model was
November
that?
12 in 2012.
Yeah,
Uh,
because wasn't it re-released on the PS4?
Possibly, I'm not too sure, but that had a huge player base or fan base when it was released. Like um,
Mm.
streamers and YouTube, like we're talking about Fortnite, a lot of them got big off Black Ops 2 as well. Like it kind of blew up,
Mm.
and people were coming for it left, right, and center.
But like you got, I was thinking the other day, like Warframe, it's not really that popular because like it's a really like fast-paced and not many people like it. But like
That's
if
kind of
it had blown up,
Warface is almost like a
Warframe,
oh sorry Warframe, yeah, sorry, is
mm.
almost like a Destiny,
Yeah.
a free version
See,
of Destiny, I
Destiny would
reckon.
be up there as well.
The first Destiny.
Yeah.
The second one kind of went a little bit downhill, I reckon.
Well, the first Destiny was out for 7 years, and then they decided to make a new one. But if they hadn't have made a new one, there'd still be heaps of people playing it now.
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. But I think Destiny 2 might have killed the series off a little bit because it critics agreed that it did let down the series.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what's your opinion on game of the year or game of the decade? Sorry.
So like my favorite game of all time is Destiny, Warframe. You know what I've been thinking as well?
What's that?
Minecraft.
Very popular to this day, and it was released. Was it
In
2012?
2010
No, 2011.
and no, 2012. I'm pretty sure. 2010.
20.
Pretty sure.
Let me pull it up. Nope, 2011.
2009.
What?
I said, when was Minecraft released?
Oh,
17th
yeah,
May 2009.
2009. But
That's 11 years, and it's still
yeah, exactly, and it's
one of the
still
most
running
popular
like it
games of
was,
all time.
yeah, exactly, one of the most played games of all time to this day, and it was released 11 years ago.
But like, you just think about it. The coding was so simple. Like, they didn't put anything bad in it. It was just, you get a world, you can do whatever you want with it.
And it was all ages, and you just had the overall just freedom
Yeah,
to
exactly.
just do what it was that you felt like doing.
Mm.
And so yeah, I think that's kind of what made it shoot up. In a lot of people's opinion, it was another game that is personally my favorite game that's ever been made, and I think was kind of alright for its like it's very good for its time, but it's kind of overlooked now. Is Mafia 2. It was released in 2010. It was an action adventure.
Yeah. But they released a Mafia 3, didn't they?
They did, which I thought was not as good as Mafia
Yeah.
2. Well, but that's just an opinion. But that's what I thought. After playing both the games several times, and all included DLCs and everything, just the feel of the game, the character, I just didn't characters in it. I just didn't feel were as good as in Mafia 2. Whereas everything in that game fit together. All the weapons of the time, the cars of the time, the music of that time, just that the game felt very complete and very, very finished. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, I think that could go in for run of the decade.
But if you just think about it, how popular would a Minecraft 2 be? Imagine.
I can see that, but what would they do in Minecraft 2 that wouldn't be in
They just
Minecraft
make
1?
they just make the blocks and the gaming more advanced. It's like already advanced enough. It's just simple. But like I'm saying, if they released a Minecraft 2 where you got heaps of different things, heaps of different releases, but it wouldn't really work. But
I can see where you're trying to get to or where you're coming from, and yeah, I reckon it would be pretty cool. But to see modernized blocks and stuff like that, I'm not sure would be so much of a good idea, because a part of or a key feature to the Minecraft games is their pixelated look.
yeah,
So yeah, where it could work, it could also be a flaw in the process
Yeah.
of it, which still is fine, but
because like they get, I think it's 100 million players monthly.
and see that's heaps. That was one of the games that was rivaling with Fortnite about which going to be the most
Yeah.
played or most streamed or something like that. And like you said, Minecraft released in 2009 is rivaling with a game that was released maybe was it last year or the year before, and is still very high up on the ranks. And that's a very fair reason as to why Minecraft should be game of the decade.
Yeah.
Because it's been running for that long. It's got to, you know, it's
I
earned
was gonna
its
say-
spot as.
Yeah. I was gonna say CS:GO, but like that's not really on Xbox or PlayStation, so like it's not as popular as like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yep. I understand.
Which if they did release, I would like never stop playing. Just saying.
That would be good.
CS:GO?
It would be.
Update it to PS4. Just saying.
Talking about this, have you by any chance got your hands on the new Star Wars game yet, the Jedi Fallen Order?
No.
There's been a lot of
Haven't
talk
played it
about
yet.
the Star Wars series as of late because of the season on TV. Netflix, was it The Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of talk about that, here and there. been
I
very popular.
I played the first Star Wars Battlefront. I reckon that's what been. I don't know how people say it was, but I completed that game. There was no campaign, no nothing. I reckon I was the best at that game, and I got it a year after it came out. It was so easy.
I've heard, I haven't played the game personally by myself, but I've heard around that it is very pay to win, whereas they tried to
Yeah.
fix it with the second one. Didn't do like so much pay to win, but it was the pay to win essence of the game was still, floating around in there somewhere. But the first Star Wars Battlefront was one of the most pay to win games of ever. I'm just gonna say.
By the
that.
way, I'm not talking about the originals. I'm talking about the 2015 one that came out. The
Oh
originals
yeah, no,
were
the
sick.
original one
Okay.
was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking
gonna
about the
say, I ain't gonna
revamped,
get-
like the completely
yeah.
new one.
The one that EA made. So obviously you know it's gonna be
Yeah,
trash.
we'll say yeah. EA does struggle with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like for example, there's nothing really surprising comes out of EA. Like Battlefield games are kind of alright, but apart from that, it's just FIFA, and that's the same thing every year with slightly different story and different rosters. Like nothing too special. Maybe a game mode added here and there, but yeah, nothing way too special.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the Prime Minister ScoMo, who left for Hawaii during the fires?
Yeah, our Prime Minister was a bloody dog.
That was a shit move. Just on behalf of every Australian who's still there and who did lose their houses and stuff like that. Like that was a shit move on
I reckon we should raid the Parliament House and just like rob all of them.
his
and then
behalf
get whatever money.
to help pay for to fix all those houses and stuff.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was a shit move on behalf of Australia's Prime Minister. We should
Well, yeah, I'm just gonna go to Hawaii while like my whole country is
Yeah.
on fire. Yeah.
like you're supposed to be looking after the people in the country, supposed to be standing up for them, and while there's people losing their houses and shit, You're flying over to fucking Hawaii to avoid the fires. That's ridiculous. You know, instead of putting in a plan to help those people, you're leaving the problem behind you and going off and enjoying yourself somewhere else.
I've just worked it out. I know why he left.
Why is that?
Because it's in Canberra. Canberra's actually so bad. Like, there's nothing there.
Yeah, yeah, I know that, but he could have gone, still
Yeah, I
in
know, I'm
Australia. Like
joking, I'm
Hawaii
joking.
is kind of a stretch,
Yeah.
The smokes
Yeah,
from the fires in Australia have reached New Zealand.
yeah, I know.
That's how bad it is. Like we're
Pretty.
burning up pretty bad. If the smokes are reaching New Zealand,
Yeah, no, but like, it's just getting ridiculous.
it is. And the fires were purposely lit by someone. Were they not?
Yes, they were by a firefighter, believe it or not.
Yeah, it was what was his reasoning was something really stupid.
Because he wanted to, like, I think it's earn the thrill of fighting a fire.
Yeah, so he wanted to know the thrill of what it was like to fight a fire. So to do so, he, lit up.
Lit one, and
Yeah.
now half of Australia is suffering because of
Yeah,
it.
there is.
Like,
Our,
how
we
many
have a,
koalas have died?
yeah, I read today that 500 million koalas have died or lost their homes, which, koalas, it's possible that they could, because of this incident, start possibly going extinct, you know what I mean? And,
Sure, it was
we
500 million. You sure it wasn't 500,000?
it was definitely more than 500,000. No, 500 million was a guess, but it was somewhere in the millions, but,
Yeah. What do you mean, like 5 million or something like that? Because like 500 million, I don't even.
like,
No, it was more than 500 million animals and plants die.
oh,
Yeah.
koalas were a part of that, and they could go extinct, which would be very bad on Australia's behalf because it is one of our national animals, and something that is part of Australia and its land. You know what I mean? Very unique to here or to the country, and so losing or making that animal go extinct would definitely not be good or
But see, like, if koalas become extinct, like, Australia is like one of the greatest animals of all time. Or
It's
in
so
Australia,
peaceful.
I'm
They
talking.
don't really do nothing. They just kind of hang there and
Exactly.
chew on their leaves.
And like, you know what's going to be even worse? When they're like in the zoo, they're going to force them to mate.
Because that's what they will do. They'll
Yeah.
have to grab whatever's left and put them in probably enclosures or stuff to try and
Or
breed
get
them
them
in
to
order
mate.
to get them breed them to
Yeah,
get them
to
into a
get-
comfortable place again, so they're not like borderline extinction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But hopefully it does not come to that. Hopefully
Yeah.
those furry little bastards fight through it, stay strong. But yeah, get away from there.
Yeah.
Talking about weird creatures and koalas, did you see the story about the penis fish rocking up on the shore of a beaches in California?
No.
There
I
was
can't
these
say.
in California. There was these penis-looking fish just washing up, and other sea creatures just washing up on the shore. It was
Oh yeah.
yeah, it was very, very funny. To see the story.
Right. If you search it up, it legit just shows.
Yeah, literally
creatures that are just-
they're known as the fat innkeeper worm or the Chinese penis fish. They're found in China and off the
China
Korean
makes
and
the best
Japanese
names,
coast.
I will admit.
Oh,
China makes
they're-
the best names.
Yeah, they penis fish.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're found in the Gulf of China and off the Korean and Japanese coasts, and they ended up on a beach in California. So,
Yeah. But like, it's just.
it's a thousands of
It's a bad
10-inch
problem.
penis. The news article that I read, used the title or the eye-catching. It was kind of eye-catching. It was called "Thousands of 10-inch penis fish washed up on a Californian beach."
Yeah.
And so I thought I'd stop and give that a read. And they literally do look like penises.
Yeah.
So if you got some spare time, Google fucking sea penis.
Oh yeah. Hey son, what'd you do in your spare time? Oh yeah, I just searched up what penis fish were.
Yeah. No. If you catch a kid looking at fish penises, or sea...
It's not our
No,
fault.
yeah, penis fish, not fish penises. Fish penises is different to
Yeah.
a penis fish.
Yeah. I think we're gonna end it
Yeah.
on a funny note, or
Actually got one more topic.
you got one more? All right.
Trump
Bring it
being impeached.
out. Ooh.
Yes.
Nice topic, think.
Yes.
I wasn't thinking about that.
That's been trending on Instagram lately.
Yeah.
And you know,
Honestly.
it's been talked about quite a bit.
Mm.
Um I
Nancy
forgot the
Pelosi. Is she a ranger?
Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, that's the one. She's the possibly actually.
No, she's not.
He was
Why
charged
she look
for
like she's a
what was the stuff that he was charged for? He was charged for bribery
bribery?
and wire fraud. Sorry. Committee released the report specifying criminal bribery and wire fraud charges as part of the abuse of power. On December 18th, the House voted along party lines to impeach Trump for both those charges.
But there's people saying like that he could get like go to jail if he
Oh, he's
like
definitely
if his
facing
case,
trial in the US Senate. That's for sure.
yeah, if the case gets like worse comes to worse and like the court or the lawyers make him believe that
Yeah, and I'm sure it's
the
possible,
court
man.
believes that like heaps of people in Australia have gotten jailed for nothing.
Yeah, it's a trending topic right now, but I don't know much about it, so I think we're gonna end it there.
Yeah.
Like I said, hope you all have had a good Christmas, had a good New Year's. Um, we look forward
Peace in the
to
middle. No, wait, hold
speaking
up.
to all of you again in 2020.
Yep. Hold up. What should our signature sign off be? First question. We're gonna let them vote. Let them vote. Alright, make one.
Alrighty, we gotta.
Peace in the Aussie East. No, that's copying Isaac Butterfield. Love you if you listen. I love you.
Yes, Mr. Butterfield, you bearded motherfucker. I love you so. No, let us know if you got some ideas for a cool ending. Drop it in the comments.
I want to drop one right now. Hold on. Signature.
Make sure to tell your friends about it. Make sure if you're watching us on YouTube, drop a sub. If you're watching us on Spotify, make sure to tune in. We're going to be trying to upload about every 2 weeks. Trying every week if possible. We'll be uploading on a Saturday. Yeah. All the videos are going to remain unedited.
Unedited.
So we're just going to record them and post them straight to you guys.
Alright.
You got a finishing line, Jonah?
Not yet. I'm thinking. Hold up. Just let's think of one quickly.
Oh,
Like, cause like, well, I'm part wog. You're a full wog, and me. Well, the other person. Sorry, I kind of name dropped there. Another person who's gonna join us is also a wog. So like, wogs with the togs.
okay. let's just push the brakes on
We'll
that one.
finish it with that.
Yeah, wogs and the togs. Stay
Yeah,
cool.
that means days as in New Zealand. If you didn't know, because I'm New Zealand as well.
Alright, interesting
All right.
facts. You learn something every day. Alright, guys.
All right,
Have a good
ladies,
one.
guys. Wogs with the togs. All right, we'll see you later.
See you next time.